Their eyes were watching God. Chapter 1. Ships at a distance have every man's wish on board. For some they come in with the tide. For others they sail forever on the horizon, never out of sight, never landing until the watcher turns his eyes away in resignation. His dreams mocked to death by time. That is the life of men. Now, women forget all those things they don't want to remember, and remember everything they don't want to forget. The dream is the truth, and then they act and do things accordingly. So the beginning of this was a woman, and she had come back from burying the dead. Not the dead of sick and ailing with friends at the pillow and the feet. She had come back from the sudden and bloated. The sodden dead. Their eyes flung wide open in judgment. The people all saw her come because it was sundown. The sun was gone, but he had left his footprints in the sky. It was a time for sitting on porches beside the road. It was a time to hear things talk. And these sitters had been tongueless, earless, eyeless conveniences all day long. Mules and other brutes had occupied their skins. But now the sun and the boss man were gone, so the skins felt powerful and human. They became lords of sounds and lesser things. They passed nations through their mouths. They sat in judgment, seeing the woman as she made them remember the envy they had stored up from other times. So they chewed up the back parts of their minds and swallowed with relish. They made burning statements with questions and killing tools out of laughs. It was mass cruelty, a mood come alive. Their words walking without masters, walking all together like harmony in a song. What's she doing coming back here in them overhauls? Can't she find no dress to put on? Where's that blue satin dress she left here in? Where all that money her husband took and died and left her? What that old 40-year-old woman doing with her hair swinging down her back like some young gal? Where she left that young lad of a boy she went off here with? Thought she was going to marry? Where he left her? What he done with all her money? Betcha he off with some gal so young she ain't even got no hairs. Why she don't stay in her class? When she got up where they were, she turned her face on the bander log and spoke. They scrambled a noisy "good evening" and left their mouths setting open and their ears full of hope. Her speech was pleasant enough, but she kept walking straight on to her gate. The porch couldn't talk for looking. The men noticed her buttocks like she had grapefruits in her hip pockets. The great rope of black hair swinging to her waist and unraveling in the wind like a plume. Then her pugnacious breasts were trying to bore holes in her shirt. They, the men, were saving with the mind what they lost with the eye. The women took the faded shirt and the muddy overalls and laid them away for remembrance. It was a weapon against her strength, and if it turned out of no significance, it was still hope that she might fall to their level someday. But nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Nobody even thought to swallow spit until after her gate slammed behind her. Pearl Stone opened up her mouth and laughed real hard because she didn't know what else to do. She fell all over Miss Sumpkins while she laughed. Miss Sumpkins snorted violently and sucked her teeth. Y'all let her worry you? You ain't like me. I ain't got her to study about. If she ain't got manners enough to stop and let folks know how she been making out, let her go on. She ain't even worth talking after, Lulu Moss drawled through her nose. She sits high, but she looks low. That's what I say about these old women running after young boys. Phoebe Watson hitched her rocking chair forward before she spoke. Well, nobody don't know if it's anything to tell or not. Me, I'm her best friend, and I don't know. Maybe us don't know things like you do, but we all know how she went away from here, and us sure seen her come back. There ain't no use in you're trying to cloak no old woman like Jenny Starks, Phoebe. Friend or no friend. At that, she ain't so old as some of y'all that's talking. She way past 40, to my knowledge, Phoebe. No more than 40 at this outside. She way too old for a boy like Tea-Cake. Tea-Cake ain't been no boy for some time. He's around 30 himself. Don't care what it was. She could stop and say a few words with us. She act like we done something to her. Pearl Stone complained. She the one doing wrong. You mean you mad 'cause she didn't stop and tell us all her business? Anyhow, what you ever know her to do so bad as y'all make out? The worst thing I ever know her to do was taking a few years off her age, and that ain't never harmed nobody. Y'all makes me tired. The way you talking. You think the folks in this town ain't do nothing in the bed except praise the Lord. You have to excuse me, 'cause I'm bound to go get her some supper. Phoebe stood up sharply. Don't mind us, Lulu smiled. Just go right ahead. Us can mind your house for you till you get back. My supper is done. You better go see how she feel. You can let the rest of us know. Lord, Pearl agreed. I done scorched up that little meat and bread too long to talk about. Y'all can stay away from home. I can stay away from home long as I please. My husband ain't fussy. Oh, Phoebe, if you was ready to go, I could walk you over there with you, Miss Sumpkins volunteered. It's sort of dusking down dark. The boogeyman might get you. Nah, thank you. Nothing could catch me these few steps I'm a-going. Anyhow, my husband tell me say no first class boogie would have me. If she got anything to tell you, you'll hear it. Phoebe hurried on off with a covered bowl in her hands. She left the porch pelting her back with unasked questions. They hoped the answers were cruel and strange. When she arrived at the place, Phoebe Watson didn't go in the front gates and down the palm walk to the front door. She walked around the fence corner and went to the intimate gate with her heaping plate of mulatto rice. Janie must be around that side. She found her sitting on the steps of the back porch with the lamps all filled and the chimneys clean. Hello, Janie. How you coming? All pretty good. I'm trying to soak some of the tiredness and the dirt out my feet. She laughed a little. I see you is, gal. You sure looks good. You looks like you's your own daughter. They both laughed. Even with them overalls on, you shows your womanhood. Go on, go on. You must think I brought you something. When I ain't brought home nothing but myself. That's a gracious plenty. Your friends wouldn't want nothing better. That's I takes that flattery off your Phoebe, 'cause I know it's from the heart. Janie extended her hand. Good Lord, Phoebe. Ain't you never going to give me that little rations you brought me? I ain't had a thing on my stomach today except my hand. They both laughed easily. Give it here and have a seat. I knowed you be hungry. No time to be hunting stove and wood after dark. My mulatto rice ain't so good this time. Not enough bacon grease, but I reckon it'll kill hungry. I'll tell you in a minute, Janie said, lifting the cover. Gal, it's too good. You switches a mean fanny on in a kitchen. Oh, that ain't much to eat, Janie, but I'm liable to have something sure enough good tomorrow, 'cause you done come. Janie ate heartily and said nothing. The vari-colored cloud dust that the sun had stirred up in the sky was settling by slow degrees. Here, Phoebe, take your plate. I ain't got a bit of use for an empty dish. That grub sure come in handy. Phoebe laughed at her friend's rough joke. You's just as crazy as you ever was. Hand me that dish rag over there, the chair by you, honey. Let me scrub my feet. She took the cloth and rubbed vigorously. Laughter came to her from the big road. Well, I see Mouth Almighty is still sitting in the same place, and I reckon they got me up in their mouth now. Yes, indeed. You know, if you pass some people and you don't speak to suit 'em, they got to go way back in your life and see what you ever done. They know more about you than you do yourself. An envious heart makes a treacherous ear. They done heard about you just what they hoped done happened. If God don't think no more about 'em than I do, as a lost ball in the high grass. I hears what they say, 'cause they just will collect round my porch, and because it's on the big road. My husband gets so sick of 'em sometimes he make 'em all get for home. Sam is right too. They just wearing out your sitting chairs. Yeah, Sam say most of 'em goes to church so they'll be sure to rise in judgment. That's the day that every secret's supposed to be made known. They wants to be there and hear it all. Sam is too crazy. You can't stop laughing when you's around him. Uh-huh. And he says he aims to be there himself so he can find out who stole his corn cob pipe. Phoebe, that's him and yours and just won't quit. Crazy thing. Most of these zigaboos is so head up over your business till they liable to hurt theyself to judgment to find out about you. If they don't soon know, you'd better make haste and tell them about you and TK getting married, and if he taking all your money and went off with some young gal, and where he at with it, where at he is now, and where at is all your clothes that you got to come back here in some overalls. I don't mean to bother with telling them nothing, Phoebe. 'Tain't nothing worth the trouble. You can tell them what I say if you wants to. That's just the same as me, 'cause my tongue is in my friend's mouth. If you so desire, I'll tell them what you'll tell me to tell them. To start off with, people like them waste up too much time putting their mouth on things they don't know nothing about. Now they got to look into me loving tea cake and see whether it was done right or not. They don't know if life's a mess of cornmeal dumplings and if love is a bed quilt. So long as they get a name to gnaw on, they don't care whose it is and what about, especially if they can make it sound like evil. If they wants to see and know, why don't they come and kiss and be kissed? I could then sit down and tell them things. I've been a delegate to the big association of life. Yes, sir. The Grand Lodge, the big convention of living, is just where I've been this year and a half. Y'all ain't seen me. They sat there in the fresh young darkness close together, Phoebe eager to feel and do through Janie, but hating to show her zest for fear it might be thought mere curiosity. Janie full of that oldest human longing, self-revelation. Phoebe held her tongue for a long time, but she couldn't help moving her feet. So Janie spoke. They don't need to worry about me and my overalls as long as I still got my $900 in the bank. TK got me into wearing them, following behind him. TK ain't wasting up no money of mine. And he ain't left me for no young gal neither. He give me every consolation in the world. He'd tell him so too if he was here, if he wasn't gone. Phoebe dilated all over with her eagerness. TK gone? Yeah, Phoebe. TK is gone. And that's the only reason you see me back here. 'Cause I ain't got nothing to make me happy no more where I was at. Down in the Everglades there. Down on the muck. It's hard for me to understand what you mean the way you tell it. And then again, I'm hard of understanding at times. Nah, ain't nothing like you might think, so ain't no use in telling you something. Ain't no use in me telling you something unless I give you the understanding to go along with it. Unless you see the fur. A mink skin ain't no different from a coon hide. Look at here, Phoebe. Is Sam waiting on you for his supper? It's already waiting. If he ain't got no sense to eat it, that's his hard luck. Well then, we can sit right here where we is and talk. I got the house all opened up to let this breeze get a little catching. Phoebe, we've been kissing friends for 20 years, so I depend on you for a good thought. And I'm talking to you from that standpoint. Time makes everything so old. The kissing young darkness became a monstropolis. Became a monstropolis old thing while Janie talked.